Alaska is known for its vast amount of natural resources: oil, gas, fish, timber, ice. Yes, ice. You heard me right. That's because, as wacky as it sounds, at one point Alaska sold its ice to our southern friends for profit.
Here to explain in Story Time with Ann Phil is Laurel Downing Bill, author of Ann Phil's Trunk Alaskan History Series. Good morning.
Good morning.
It sounds very interesting. So how did Alaska get into the ice business?
Alaska got into the ice business in the 1850s. Now, the last frontier had a lot of ice, and it's something Californians really wanted. That was during their gold rush, so they had extra money that they could afford luxuries like ice for their drinks and to keep their food from spoiling. But the first shipments were going like from Boston all the way around Cape Horn to California, so it was really expensive, and pretty soon they couldn't keep up with the demand. So Alaska was a lot closer.
And it wasn't a bad idea because Alaska's ice, it was selling for, what, $75 a ton?
Yeah, that's $2,000 in today's money. So
Wow.
They shipped ice from southeast, from Sitka down to San Francisco, but it proved to be kind of unpredictable because southeast Alaska is so mild. So then when they learned that Lake Tanignak on Woody Island had a much better ice, then they kind of turned to Woody Island to do this.
So that's where that became kind of the hub where the ice was made in the ship. Talk about that.
Yeah, the Russians built two huge ice houses, and then they would ship the ice. In fact, 7,000 tons of ice went as far south as Mexico, Central and South America between 1852 and 1859. And then they had crews of between 150 and 200 Alaska natives who would ship and store the ice. And their shifts ran from 8 in the morning until 11 a.m. and then again noon to 5. And these folks were paid a glass full of rum with fish soup for lunch, and then they got another glass of rum and 20 cents at the end of the day for their labors.
A hard day's work. Wow. So at some point, the artificial ice machine is made, and Alaska's ice business starts to cut down on shipments, but it doesn't do that without some sort of incentive.
That's right. The Russians entered into an interesting agreement after this ice machine was developed. The ice machine manufacturer wanted to stifle competition. So he offered to pay the Russian company not to ship their ice. But the Russians didn't really trust this new company, so they kept shipping ice and storing it just as an insurance policy in case that manufacturer tried to back out of the deal.
Oh my gosh.
So they were making ice only for it to go to waste so other ice could be used?
It does sound odd, kind of.
It is an odd indeed. There was an article, it was the Alaska Sportsman's Magazine, written by Jay Stouter back in January 1956. And he called it Alaska's wackiest enterprise, where you had a sawmill cutting lumber to make sawdust to store ice that would be thrown away to make room for freshly cut ice that would never be used.
Oh my gosh.
I think we're better off with the ice machine now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now you know.